Hi and welcome to this Ayurvedic health check. I will check all kinds of different things and I will mention some of them to you. And then I will give you some personal advice on what to do. You already have everything within you that you need to be in balance and be able to fully enjoy life, both physically, mentally, emotionally, and socially. So it's very important that no one else than you take responsibility for your life. What I can add or contribute with is to help you realize and make way for the enormous resources you already have. To have those blockages to be moved aside. And when you develop these resources more and more, then you will much easier find and fulfill your special role in this life and feel even better. And bring happiness to yourself and others. And no matter what happens, you're always on your path. And the things that happens are meant to be, so never blame yourself or think that you're wrong. Everything is a purpose. Everything has a purpose. So I appreciate that you want to give me this confidence to be one of your guides. So start this health check. Takes about 90 minutes and I will do several things and feel your pulse and so on, and you will fill in some questionnaire as well. And in the advices then I may recommend some of the other treatments that we also do. For example, the Marma treatment is like an acupuncture or acupressure really treatment. A light massage you can say with aromatic oils, and that is good for all of the doshas. The doshas are the vata, pitta and kapha. I don't know how much you know about Ayurveda, but what it's very much about, which I do with everything that I do, working as a psychic or medium, and healing and anything that I do, I work with the same purpose, which is to help you to know yourself, to be in touch with the core of who you really are. And in Ayurveda we use the terms vata, pitta and kapha, and I will ask you a few questions about to determine where you are now, where your balance is now between those doshas. And these are, the vata is, all these doshas is in everything. Vata is space and air. Pitta is fire and a little bit of water. And kapha is water and earth. So this is in everything in the universe and in different we have more or less of each of these, but we all have them all. So everything contains all of it in certain amounts. So this is also in every human there is. And they govern our functions. The differences depends on which of these doshas that dominates. So, and they complement each other, so it's good no matter what balance you have of these doshas. It's not that we should have all three doshas in equal balance or equal amount of each. The thing we strive for here in getting to know ourselves, who we really are, our core, is to balance each person back to the way to the balance of the doshas they were born to have. So, and that I can feel in the pulse. That will not show in the questions, but I will feel it in your pulse. So, but you can get an idea by what you answer to these questions as well as just looking at you and hearing your voice and so on. I can also see some of these things there. You can give me guidance as well. So how you move, everything really shows these doshas. So, and this, I need to know this because this is actually what an Ayurveda therapist do. Balance these doshas. Balance your doshas. So every disease, according to Ayurveda, comes from imbalanced doshas, and that also can be felt in the pulse. I feel if you're the unique balance of the doshas that you should have, or that you are born with, if that is not in balance. I feel if some doshas are too much and have spread over to the others. So then what an Ayurveda therapist do with different measures is to help bring that dosha back in balance, and then follows health. So, and also I will give you guidance related to what you will feel best doing and not doing in many areas of your life, but also including food and what you drink, because in Ayurveda food is medicine, really. So, but also there are no rights or wrong. There is nothing you have to do or cannot do that is forbidden, or that would be to be neurotic in Ayurvedic terms. It's more an overall thing that maybe add more of the things that you feel better of and lessens things that may not be as good for your doshas. So, and this also, the doshas are also affected by the rhythms of the day. There are certain rhythms from 6 to 10 a.m. It's kapha time, therefore it's good to get up, depending on your balance then, but for most people it's good to be up around 6. If we sleep longer, we get more tired. We have that kapha dosha with us during the day. so we will be more slow and feel more tired. And then from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. it's pitta time, and in the middle of the day it's good to eat your heaviest meal, because when the sun is highest on the sky, then the digestion works the best, most efficient, and you can take the nourishment from the food much better also. So and also intellectual work and such, this pitta, clarity and ambitious side is more active at that time. So, and then from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. it's vata time, and that is the more airy type, also much more creative and flexible dosha, very moving dosha in itself. So it could be good to do some calming activities really at that time, and if possible, or maybe art, things that are not stressful but still can be stimulating. So we can make use of this activity. It's a very fast dosha, so it's very active, and we can make use of that without losing our stability and just lift off from the ground. So then from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. as well as 6 to 10 in the morning, 6 to 10 in the evening, it is kapha time again, and that's the best time to go to sleep. And if we have a cold, for example, it's very good to go to sleep early, maybe around 9 or so, and then not sleep that time in the morning, because then it will add more kapha to that cold. And that also depends on what sort of cold we have, but generally. So then calm down, just spend time with people we love. So also exercise can be good to do this time, either in the morning or from between 6 and 10 at night, because the body is strongest then, and also the rhythms of the year we take in account. For example, spring now, this time is when the body is strongest, the springtime. So if we want to push ourselves a little bit further physically, this is a good time to do it. We won't harm the body as much as if we would try to do that in the winter, for example, or in the summer. So, and moving back to the rhythms of the day, so between 6 and 10 p.m. then all of nature calms down to go to sleep, and we have lost this touch with the nature around us. So sometimes we need to turn that sensitivity back, or learn these things, so that we can see how much we can benefit from them when we use them. So then at least to go to bed before 10 is good, because after 10, from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. then again is a cycle of pitta time. And this pitta time is not for eating, but some people who stay up get hungry, but this time is to cleanse the inner organs, really. So this fire, this pitta at night is used for that. Therefore it's very good if we can sleep that time as well, and that we don't have food to digest, but that the body can work with replenish ourselves, so the liver and the different organs. And then from 2 to 6 a.m. Again, it's Vata time, so we can be, if we get up that time, or if we stay up that time, we can get more anxiety or feel like restless or so on. And if we wake up, because this is also very awake dosha, you can say, but not as much as the Pitta one, but if we get up that time, we will feel very much more alert, probably during the day, but that is not good to be too alert. So for a Vata person, it's good to sleep at least till 6. Someone who have a lot of Vata in themselves, it's good to sleep to at least 6 a.m. so that the Kapha energy and the soothing energy, calming energy of Kapha also follows up us into the day. Yeah. So now, also I started to say a little bit about the rhythms of the year, and summertime is Pitta time, and winter is then Vata. So we take that in consideration when you get advices and when we give them. So depending if you come to me for a health check in the winter, depending on what time of the year that I will give, what sort of advices I will give you that time. Also mainly depends on what I feel in the pulse. That the pulse is the sound of the soul, so it gives most information and accurate information. Still, it have an effect. I take it in consideration. We live in this universe, in this world around us as well, and get affected by it. So, and also I take in account what time of the day that I do this health check on you, because it will be a little bit different depending on what time, if it's Vata, Pitta or Kapha time that I do this. So then I will ask you a few questions about Vata, Pitta and Kapha and what you consider yourself, and then I will also feel and check what I think about this, but what you would consider your bone structure, if you say, would you call it thin, medium or thick? And you can choose 2 of these if you're unsure on all of these questions with 3 alternatives. You can choose 1 or 2 of these, but not all 3. And that will give me some information. Okay. And then I wonder about your weight. What do you consider? Is it a low weight and you seldom gain weight? Or are you middle weight or heavy and gain weight easily? Okay. And then the eyes. Would you consider them being small and deep? Or middle in size or large? Okay. And then the skin, and I will also feel your skin and check these things, as I said myself. But I want to hear what you think yourself as well. The skin, do you often feel that you get dry in your skin? Or is it soft and sensitive, or is it smooth? Maybe it gets even a little bit flat sometimes. Okay. And then your hair. Does it easily get dry or flying, if you say, or is it thin and soft? Or is it thickened and easily get fat? Right. Yeah. Then I want to ask what you think about when you walk and move around. Do you do it quick and lightly, or fairly quick, or slow? Alright. And physically, would you say that you are very fit, or fairly fit, or less fit? Okay. And your way of working, would you say that you're very quick, or efficient and very thorough, or slow and methodical? And when it comes to the mental functions, would you say that you are alert and have a great imagination, or sharp intellect, or that you are thoughtful? And as I said, you can choose two if you feel that two suits you. Many do, so that's nothing wrong with that. So, yeah. Or one, if you are sure that, if you feel like you really know what is you here. And then I wonder, when it comes to new ideas, would you say that you try mostly everything that comes? New things that come up for you, or do you go through them critically at first, or do you rather wait? Okay. And then I wonder about your mood. Does your mood shift quickly, or would you say that you are temperamental, have hot temper? Or would you say that you have a stable mood? Okay. And all of these things are related to these doshas that I talked about. Everything there is related to this. Everything is part of this element. So, and then I wonder if you have a stress reaction, or I wonder about your stress reaction. Would you say that you easily worry, or would you say that you easily get irritated, or that you seldom are worried or irritated? Okay. Then I wonder about your sleeping habits. Do you wake up easily, or does it vary how you sleep? Sometimes good, sometimes bad. Or do you sleep 7 to 8 hours and a good sleep? Or at least 8 hours and heavy sleep? Okay. And then now there are 3 questions left here. I want to ask you about hunger and digestion. Is it irregular and do you sometimes forget to eat? Or is it very strong so you feel you just got to eat and you get angry if you don't get food instantly when you need it? And you need it on set times when you usually eat. Or does it feel stable and slow and like that? Right. And then actually I don't know what this word is in English. Sorry. Excrement, I think. No, maybe that's the word you use for other things, but I hope you understand what I mean now. When you go to the toilet, you know. Is that irregular, or do you easily get hard, dry? The poo, if we say, since I don't know the words for this in English. Or do you go at least 1 to 2 times a day? And is it rather loose than hard? Or is it regular and heavy and slow? Okay, right. This is very important in Ayurveda actually, because the digestion is, I can't go into that because then I would have to have a lecture, but it really affects all of the body, all the tissues, everything. I mean, the building stones, the thing we become, not only physically but also in our bliss, how we feel, are so affected by the digestion, really. So, and these things show a bit about both what balance we have of the doshas, but also sometimes a bit about the digestion. And for some it's normal to be in one way, and for some it's unbalanced to be in that way. So we need to find what's your most healthy balance here. And then I wonder, and then economy. Does your money roll fast, like on impulse, or you sudden or journeys, or do you rather spend them on quality and food, drink, clothes, or do you seldom buy something impulsively and rather save it until later? Okay, alright. And there are no judgment in this. This is just to discover the balance in your doshas. Then I want to hear about the weather tolerance you have. Do you like sun but not windy, cold weather? Or do you don't like too much sun and heat? Or do you like warmth but not moist and cold weather? Okay, that's great. Now we will see what we come up with from these. And if any one of you want to answer, that may listen to this also, since I recorded it, would like to reply to me on this, that's fine as well. But I need to feel the pulse to make a good health check, but you can see a few things and that can be interesting. So okay, now I will go to some other things here. Now I will feel on men. You can test on both hands, both wrists of the hand. If I'm allowed, then I will test your pulse now. And on women, we usually feel the pulse on the left hand, and then on men on the wrist of the left hand, and on men on the wrist of the right hand. But also you can feel on both hands for both to discover the balance between the female, if you say, side and the male side, the yin and yang, or how you would express it in one person. So, but mainly to get information, we need we can just feel one side of the wrists, yeah. So then if you want to write your name here, and yeah, it's the 16th of April 2014, and the time there, so we remember so we can take that in account when it comes to the wholeness, because Ayurveda is so much about the wholeness. So now I will use the 3 fingers, Vata, Pitta and Kapha fingers, to feel on your pulse. Is that okay? Yeah. And the Vata is what do you call it in English, pointing finger, the first, and the Pitta is the middle finger, and the one beside the little finger, I don't know the names for them, is the Kapha finger. So the 3 middle fingers will be used there. That are related to these doshas as well then. So what I will feel now first, I will just lightly touch the pulse on your wrist of the hand. And what I can feel here is if the pulse feels whole or if it's scattered, and I can also feel if there is a lot of rest products in your pulse, so to speak, in your body, that means, or in your soul, if you have gathered a lot of things you need to get rid of. So in your mind, everything is one in Ayurveda. And also I can feel how much of ojas, that is kind of a happiness elixir, that is a drop of ojas is what comes from after 40 days after a great digestion. We get these blissful ojas, but ojas can come in many forms, but we feel it in the pulse as well if you have ojas. And then also I can feel your agni or your digestion, if it's and the rest products are called I can feel the agni as well, as I said, and I can feel if it's sama, vishama, tikshna or manda, meaning if it's balanced or if it's variating, or if it's too fast or hot, or if it's very slow. So this is also a lot about if it's Vata, Pitta, Kapha. And also I can feel the overall pulse. If it's the first impressions that I get is very important. Whatever impressions that is, it tells me where you are right now, the things that I feel. And for you who may not be aware of what you can feel in the pulse, you can feel almost anything in the pulse, but to start with, if it's light, if it's clear, if it's thin, if it's lively, if it's cold or more cold. Maybe not, I have never felt a cold pulse, but not warm anyways. And if it's fast, and if it's irregular, if it's strained, if it's hard, if it's blown up, if it's distinct, if it's clear. I mean, if it's very clear, so obvious, or if it's rhythmic, intense, warm, hot, if it's sharp, pointy and sharp, or forced, if it's stable, if it's smooth, if it's slow, if it's full, if it's heavy, if it's I don't think obscure is the right word, but if it's hidden and not clear, those things, for example. And also we can feel in the pulse if it's sattva, rajas or tamas, and that is the related to the mind, the doshas of the mind, you could maybe say. And that speaks about what needs to be balanced there of those. So I won't go into that, but that is what you can feel generally. And then I can feel and differentiate on 4 different levels. And the second level is the sub-doshas. First the doshas, vata, pitta and kapha, and feel what's more or what's too much, which is overflowing, where it shouldn't be in the body. You can say, yeah, I can feel that in the pulse. And then the sub-doshas. And for vata, that is prana, udana, samana, apana, vyana. And the vata pulse feels like a snake, you can say, a little bit moving, but it's like in a tickly, a little bit like tingles. That is vata. And the pitta pulse moves like a frog, jumping up and down very steadily. And then the kapha pulse moves more like a swan, soft, larger, slow movements. And that is sometimes hard to discover because it's not as clear as the other ones. And then when it comes to the pitta, the different pitta pulses and those sub-doshas of vata, you feel them on different places of the vata finger, of the tip of the fingertip. And the same thing for the pitta, on 5 places on the tip of the pitta finger, and the kapha on 5 different places on the kapha finger. So, to begin with, when I learned this, I thought that must be impossible to just feel which dosha was amazing. And most Indian Ayurvedic doctors know vata, pitta and kapha, but not the sub-doshas, to feel them in the pulse. So, and then, yeah, the pitta is Pachaka, Ranyaka, Sadaka, Lochaka, and Brajaka. And then for kapha, it's Kledaka, Valambaka, Budaka, Tarpaka, and Sleshaka. I mean, those words. So, and that is the second level. And then we can also feel how far down in the tissues an imbalance have gone, so we can understand what we need to balance, really. And that is what these that is also how the digestion, there are kind of steps, if you say, from the digestions that moves in this way, from rasa to rakta to mansa to meda to ashti to maja and then to shukra. Shukra is the reproducive organs that get affected last if there is an imbalance. And then after that, if it moves in a healthy way, all this through these different levels, I won't go into what each of them represents, but then the body produces these ojas 5 days after it reached the shukra, and it takes 5 days for each of these steps. Yeah, and then I can discover how far down an imbalance have reached in the body. And also how long it may take to recover, and how fast we need to work, or with how much force is needed in that situation. And then the deepest pulse, then we press hard. I press hard on the wrist, your hand, so that I actually stop the pulse for a moment. And then I just lift up a little bit, tiny bit. And then I feel your deepest pulse. What is in that order that I feel it, is the balance that you were born with. So, yeah. And that balance is what we try to recover or come back to, because that is when you are the healthiest and will feel the best. So if you, for example, is Vata Pitta, then we try to find, make you come back to that. And if you're Kapha or Kapha Pitta or Kapha Vata, or however, and some are all three of them, Vata Pitta and Kapha, then we try to see to it that we find that balance for you. Yeah. And there also it's interesting how strongly you feel it, or weak, or if it's very clear or unclear. That says a bit about how connected we are to our core, to who we really are, so how aware we are of our true nature, really. So now I want to ask you, we have done this Vata Pitta Kapha. I will check that up also later. And then I want to ask you, do you often feel warm in your body, or do you easily feel cold and frozen? Okay. And then now I want to check your tongue. Could you please just let me, right, so that I can see. This is also shows Vata Pitta and Kapha, both the shape and how large tongue you have, and also I check different kinds of things, if it's moist or if it's ama on it, or what color it have, and if it is these harsh things in the sides or cracks in it, and the tongue, as well as many organs in the body, represents actually the whole body. So you can see in the tongue, for example, if let's say the head would be at the tip of the tongue, we will imagine someone who have heartbreaks would have a crack probably around where the heart would be then. And if you have problems in your lower back, you will have a crack there. So I'm not allowed to give too much information about this, but this is able to be found in the net anyway, so many of these things. But yeah, so that's pretty interesting. And then also if there are certain stains, and also the middle line, which is the spine, how that seems. So, but don't go around doing health checks on people randomly now, because this, you need to know that's why we can't share it actually, because it is the wholeness that is the thing. So if you know just one or two things or a few things, you will not correct it in the right way or heal it in the right way, because it's just a little piece of it all. But it can be interesting, and maybe if you see that it actually is so, maybe you or if others see so, maybe they also consider to actually go to an Ayurveda therapist. Yeah, because the healing methods we use there are no, for example, if we use herbs, there are no dangers with them, no rest products like in medicines, and all the treatments are very soft, and yeah, so, and also very cheap. Most of it you can do by yourself at home, so sometimes it seems too easy, too simple for people, so, but it is very efficient still. And now, thank you so much. Then I want to look at your nails, and there I also look at the size of the nails and the color. Are they pink, white, or bluish and strong, or seem fragile, or brittle, or soft, or are there white spots on them, and where every nail represents different parts of the body as well? Are they swollen, or are there something is there? Are they whole altogether and smooth? Or also if there are stripes in either way, or do you have mucus or no? Great. And then we have already gone through that question, so I will move on here. When it comes to urination, and then as well I have to ask you, do you need to go up at night? No. Yeah, some people need to 1 time or 1 to 3 times, so yeah. And do you feel that it's suddenly, no, oh no, incontinence, no. Do you have had urine infections before? Seldom, okay, yes, not often, you know. And there are no other problems around that, meaning like the color, the scent, or the how much or how often? No? Right, good. And then the skin, I will check and feel your skin and look here. Do you have spots, or do you have you had any trouble with your skin now? Right. Then the eyes here. Also I look at the form and the size of the eyes, and the color, and the iris. And you can see so many things in the eyes, but for now this, and how clear they are, or if they are more soft, and is there a dark or light ring around the iris, or, and also your voice. You can feel very clearly if it's what qualities it has when it comes to the doshas, vata, pitta, kapha. So, okay, then I think I have checked that, and then I have now a questionnaire. I will just go through this, and then meanwhile you can fill in this questionnaire here. And this is confidential information. Everything here, obviously, you won't reach anyone else. So, if you would like to fill in these things, this is today's date. Yes, and there's name and date of birth and address. And if you're married or not, email, and telephone, work at home, and mobile, and what's your occupation and working place, and how many children, and what would you mostly want to improve or get help with. That line, and then you can write these. I will check them quickly. When I give you the advices, because mostly I get the information in the pulse, but I need to check certain things so that you don't have some medicines doesn't go well with some herbs, for example. So therefore, I also need you to fill this in, but here also there are more questions about the rhythm of the day and your appetite and digestion and so on, and what you used to eat and problems you've had before or something else you want to mention and so on. So, for example, when you get up in the morning, do you have an alarm or not, or are you rested, happy and alert? And when do you go to bed? What time? Do you easily fall asleep? Do you sleep all night without interruptions or being disturbed by something? Do you sleep during daytime? Let's say from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Do you put aside time for yourself each day? Do you do some sort of relaxation or meditation? And if you want to learn some, just mention it here, because there are many different kinds of techniques. Both yoga is also one of the branches of Ayurveda, so it's included in Ayurveda. And that is also something we can teach, and even not maybe it'd have to be asanas, but some breathing techniques or so. And here is those questions now once again. Do you go to the toilet every day without problems? What time of the day? Early morning, after breakfast, or before noon, or the afternoon, or evening, or if it varies? And is it, as I asked even before, but if it's often hard, dry, loose, or soft, and well formed, it actually, or is it if you can't empty your bowels, really? Do you feel like it's like sticky or such? And do you sometimes have diarrhea or are constipated? Or does it vary? And do you have gases or are swollen in your colon and stomach? And do you usually drink something when you get up in the morning? And do you feel real hunger? Because that is very important in Ayurveda, to be able to digest the food properly, to feel hunger. And there are certain techniques you can use to make the digestion kick in if you don't feel hunger, so that it digests it in a good way still. But do you feel real hunger before breakfast, before lunch, before supper? Do you often feel that you want something in between meals? Do you used to eat even when you are not really feeling hungry? Do you feel heavy and drowsy and tired when you have been eating? On what times do you generally eat? Regularly or not so regularly? Like, for example, what time do you eat breakfast? And what time do you eat lunch? And what time do you eat supper? And then, what times do you eat in between meals? And then you can also write down last days as an example, what you did eat, breakfast, lunch, supper, and in between, and what you drink to the food when you eat or in between meals. And write what you drink to the meal, and then also here what you drink in between meals. And do you drink coffee daily, and how many cups a day then, if so? And then I wonder if, because all tastes are related also to certain doshas and also to healing. As I said, food is medicine, so I wonder if it's some of those things when it comes to food that you don't like or don't feel good from. Fatty food, fried food, or well, no, I don't even remember that. When I guess that is also fried. Fat or fried foods. Okay, I will just leave that question more. And then also tastes. Is it something you don't like or don't feel good from? Sweet, sour, salty foods, strong foods, bitter food, or those like when you feel like it's getting dry, almost like in the mouth when you, I don't know what it's called in English as well, but for example pomegranate, that sort of feeling. And is it anything else that you don't like or feel good from? And then I wonder if it's something you particularly like to eat a lot. And what forms of sweet things do you usually eat? Cookies, ice cream, candy, chocolate, fruit. And do you do that then to meals or in between meals? So now I will just ask you regularly eat yogurt or cheese, milk, cream, margarine? I don't know if it's called that in English even. Meat, fish, egg. And do you exercise regularly or irregularly or almost never? What type of exercise when you do? And do you use deodorant? And if so, often, sometimes, or almost never? Because if you have problems with the digestion and with the skin sometimes, it may be good to not use that also so often, or there are deodorants that doesn't have as bad effects as others, so that you can use. Do you smoke or... Yeah, I don't even know what that is when you have that under your lip. We Swedes do that a lot, but no, none of that. Otherwise, how much each day and so on, yeah. And if you want to stop or make it less, yeah. Do you drink beer, wine, or strong liquors or such? And if so, every day, every week, every month, or almost never? Okay. And do you use or have used narcotics? Okay. And do you generally like your situation or feel good with your occupation, with your family, what you're doing and so on? Right. And what are your interests in your free time? Okay. And then I want to know if you have suffered from some of these things. And there is a line where you can put a mark if you have felt those problems before, and here is beside this if you feel them, have problems with that now. So allergies, asthma, or problems with breathing, your throat or no. I felt clogged up in the nose, yeah. Headaches, heart circulation, worry, anxiety, stomach and colon, liver and gallbladder, weight, over and under or underweight, your back and neck, your muscles or joints, drug addictions, depression, kidneys, connected to the urine, skin, any private parts? No. And mucus infections, stress, lack of energy, diabetes, hearing, when it comes to feeling sense with your that sense. These are those senses: sight, smell, taste, and cancer is the last one there. Alright, that's good. Then I wonder if your well-being is affected or changed certain times of the day or night, or when it's certain weather outside or a certain temperature or such. In that case, when is it better and when is it worse? Right? Have anyone else in your family or of your relatives had similar problems or have had? Have you had an operation or been in hospital? When and for what? Right. Are you under medical care now or treatment? What medicines, also natural medicines or additional things for food and such, do you use? And for what? Have you experienced negative effects of medicines or treatments? Okay. Is there anything else you want to fill in here or want to mention? That's just feel free to do so. And for women also, these questions. Are your periods regular, you say? Or do you have troubles before the period? Do you feel moaning such when you have when your periods start or when you ovulate? When do you expect the next menstruation? Okay. Are you pregnant? Right. And also if you're in climacterium, and if you're bothered by some of these things, and if you would not have menstruations any more longer, then when did they stop? How many years have you not had it? So we know, that is the questionnaires. Then I will move to the advices here for you for now. And I will give you a few advices, and I will put this mark on those that are particularly important for you in consideration to your present situation and to the time of the year. So, and these are for the coming weeks or months. So, and it's good to complement or adjust these advices after some time, and you can then feel if you want to, after 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, or later, you can choose when you want to come back. And also what time you think you would need then. This first check takes longer, but when you come back, if you want to, then you can choose either 30 minutes, 45 minutes, or 1 hour. So then the advices: regular habits, I can't say that, are very good. You had a lot of vata, so it's good for you to balance that, and especially sleep and rest is very important for you, and also to have regular habits when it comes to eating, and also that if you sometimes doesn't feel hungry and then you forget to eat and then you feel hungry and so on, so if you eat on regular times of the day, then the body start to expect it and you will feel hungry more normally and get in balance. So, and also set aside some time for yourself each day, maybe yoga. If you want me I can show you some breathing exercise, a bit of meditation and relaxation. the sun salutation can be good for many, or the moon salutations for some. That is more relaxing even. And to do some light exercise. And as I said before about the times, from 6 to 10, if you do exercise in the evening or in the 6 p.m., between 6 and 10 p.m., then if you do it too close to, if you exercise heavily close to when you're going to sleep, then it could be hard to fall asleep. So, but for you right now, it's better to take it easy and not push yourself too hard. Yeah, and to go to bed around, at least before 10 p.m. So, even if you don't fall asleep, just lay there and rest with your eyes closed. So yeah, and calming music is better than watching something that is engaging on TV or on the net and so on before you get to bed. So, and as I said about getting up around 6 or 6:30 or so, maybe since you need to calm your vata a bit, maybe not before 6 for you. And also to cleanse your tongue, you had a little bit of ama there, so that is good to do in the morning. And it's also good to have bowel movements in the morning after you get up. So if your body has forgotten that habit, that is natural for everyone, and then you can be retrained to recover its natural function. So take good time and sit there for 5, 10, 15 minutes, even if it's needed to begin with. And one thing that is good to do that will also help this is to drink 1 or 2 cups of cooked water, not microwaved but cooked, as soon as you get up. And you can just take lesser amounts if you want, but so, and you can cook it for a while if you want. So, and don't mix it with cold water from the what is it called? Yeah, well, with other cold waters, because the molecules in the water change when you cook them, so you shouldn't mix it with other waters. But yeah, that's very cleansing, and also it helps the colon and the bowels to move. So that you can do, and yeah, I don't think you for now need to cleanse the liver, but if so, then it's good to mix a little bit of honey with fresh pressed lemon, not in hot water though. Just when you use honey, it should not be warmer than the body temperature, so otherwise it brings more ama or rest products. So yeah, and I don't think you need for now any herbs. Maybe next time we can add that if so. Yeah. So and for nourishments, I will write down a few tips that you can use. I won't go through them here, but and also I will write down some cleansing you can do throughout the day with water. had a little bit of harm in your body that you need to cleanse. So, and also to drink ginger tea in between meals now and then. You can slice 2 or 3 slices fresh ginger root in water. So that is very good in so many ways. It's like that is real medicine actually for so many problems, healing for so many things. And yeah, and if you can avoid coffee or choose caffeine-free coffee, and also you can add a little bit of cardamom, is it called, in the water, in the coffee, because that will take away the poisonous effects, many of the poisonous effects of the coffee. So, and try to eat all of the meals, even if you don't feel hungry, because you need to get those natural rhythms back in shape right now. And yeah, it's good to drink water, not cold things, but because that the agony, the fire of the digestion, you put that fire out. That should digest the food if you drink cold things to the meal. So yeah, room temperature or warm things to drink is better. And don't eat so much at night, not later than 2 to 3 hours before you go to bed. It's good. So, yeah. I think that was mainly it. You can also add olive oil, sesame oil, or ghee, because that also is very soothing and calming. It's good for you. And ghee have many positive effects. Every cell have 2 membranes around them that protects each cell, and one of these cells, the protective membrane around, are those omega fats. I'm not sure exactly now which omega. Yeah, the good omega fats. But the other layer is only matches ghee, not butter, but ghee. So to protect each cell, it's very good for many things. It's very good with ghee. But so if it's possible that you can do that, then that's great to use. Yeah, and eat fresh fruit daily is very good. Yeah. So, and if you have cold or mucus infection or allergies or so on, or feel clogged up in the nose, and that's it, yeah, then milk products, avoid them for a little bit. And also there are certain things you should mix with other things. I will go into this more. I will write a few tips here. So, but yeah, I think that's that. And if you want to, we can book a massage. You can also do an abhyanga yourself with warm sesame oil. That is very relaxing and very good for you. If you want to just buy ecological sesame oil and make it mature by warming it on the stove, then you can use that. Otherwise, there are also Vata massage oils that you can buy, for example, for you. That would be good. And there are also pitta balancer. I mean, you need vata now. So. Yeah, so, and also marma then. If you feel the need, we can book a marma treatment for you. So, yeah. That's the advices for now. Do you have any questions? I've written down a few tips, and if the most important thing is mainly to get regular movement back, so that your body relaxes more and to get in phase with its natural rhythm. So, and that is the first step. Then we can go into more exact things after that and see what remains when I do the pulse test next time. And then we can see if maybe some herbs or so will help and add to the healing here. Yeah, you can use ghee in many ways. You can also put them in your nostrils. That is really good and healing, actually. And also you can use it on your eyelids, for example, when you go to bed. And when it comes to the massage you can do for yourself, then you start at the top of the head and move downwards and circle around the elbows and such places. Otherwise, you stroke back and forth with this warming oil. But sometimes you may feel that you don't have time to do that every day, or you just don't feel like it or anything, and just to put oil on your feet, or the soles of your feet, before you go to bed is a very good thing. And then you can dry it off with a towel or a wet towel or some paper or something before you go to bed. But the sesame oil is very, very healing, and when it is matured, when you cook it a little bit on the stove, just so that it gets warmed, then you can check the oil by taking drops of water on top of the oil, and when they start to jump a little bit, you know that it's ready, so it doesn't burn. You have to watch it closely, and I mean not to burn, but it start to fire, so you have to watch it. Yeah, and when it's matured like that, it goes deeper in layers of the body. It goes deep into your body, not only on the outside. And in Ayurveda, it's said that you should only put on your body what you would put inside of your body. Actually, we often put not so good things inside of our bodies as well, so but still that is something to think about. Some of those things we use for moisturizer or whatever may contain not so good things. So in Ayurveda there is mainly natural products, or it's altogether natural products actually, and yeah. But for now I think this is to start with, so that it won't be overwhelming, because what you need very much is getting this flight and fight mode to relax. And so if I would give you a lot of assignments or things to do, it would stress you. So just keep it to this for now. And yeah, you want to come back so quick? Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. Then I will book this time. So that will be absolutely fine. And then we will see what the pulse has done. Yeah, it's very interesting. Many recognize that what the pulse said, what I felt in the pulse, what you see here, yeah, that it really says exactly how you feel at the moment and what's happening in your life at the moment. So, yeah, it's surprising, right, isn't it? Yeah, the pulse can say a lot. So yeah, they have these Kundalini yoga. That place that you can also, if you are interested, you can go there and on some classes as well. It's easier to learn together in a class than to start to do it all by yourself. Then when you have learned it, then you can, if you feel inspired, to keep doing it. So, but start out with these. Don't push yourself too hard with exercise or anything. Just be kind and loving towards yourself and listen, because as I said to begin with, you already have everything within that is needed to be in balance and to enjoy life fully, both physically, mentally, emotionally, and socially, and spiritually. So, yeah. Okay, I will just write down there a little note here for you with the time, and also if you have any questions or anything, just give me a call, and then so I can explain further. Yeah. Thank you so much, and welcome back, and take care.